Hey there, welcome to Find Your Sunne. I'm Cass.
And I'm Mare.
Join us as we find our sun through movement, nourishment, and well-being.
Awakened through the power of play. Let's dive in.
Did you just snort?
I
She snorted.
Oh, dang. I'm a little bit of a mess from our walk.
Yeah. You know what? This is kind of what we dreamed of, though. Okay.
Yep.
If you're catching us on video, this is actually what we dreamed of. We thought, oh, one day, we'll just go on a walk, and then we'll come back and do our podcast, which is exactly what we just did. So,
I actually had a dream.
look
about
at
this. I did. I like for real. I did.
You did?
Well, remember when I told you about? Well, we weren't out on a walk. We were actually shopping. So.
Oh yeah, we were on it. Yeah, and then
we were
just came back
shopping,
and we just did
and then
the podcast.
when we went to a basketball game, and then we came back and did the podcast. That was an actual dream that I had.
So here we are. I looked down at my watch this morning and I actually got a notification, and it said, you only closed your rings once last week. Would you like to reset your move goal? And I was kind of offended. Not gonna lie. I was like, no, I would not like to reset my goal. My goal is what it is, and I'm not changing it.
And I'm not living up to that expectation. So I need to get my butt in gear, right? Yeah, we've both been feeling that way.
Totally, we really have. So what did we do first thing this morning, Cassie?
We went for a walk, even though we didn't feel like we had time. Like, I feel like this whole venture has really brought us away from movement in a way, and that's not at all what we want for each other and for ourselves.
Right? It's okay. So I was actually thinking of the foundation of what Cassie and I really set as our cadence. Okay. So over the summer, like one thing that we were really valuing, like I would work out at least 4 times, strength training, walk 3 times a week. Like was super active. And that's something that we actually started doing together. And we would train in like zone 2. So we go on a walk every Wednesday. So we call it a walking Wednesday, and we go for like a 5-mile walk and like discuss what we wanted to talk about on the podcast. And then really, like, I think it was the foundation of
what everything really. Yeah. It was the foundation of everything, being able to get that movement in. And we were like, oh, we're going to be able to do this all the time and have everything. And it's just like, yeah, no, you have to stop and take care of yourself. So anyways, welcome to the Find Your Sunne podcast, where we explore how to find light and balance and joy in everyday moments. I'm Cassie, and as always, I'm joined by my amazing co-host, Meredith. So good morning.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. And we're so excited for today's episode. It's going to be a deep dive into stillness and movement, okay? And how we can all tap into a greater sense of flow in our lives. We're going to start today off with a poem that has really resonated with us both. It's called Lost by David Wagner, published in 1972. And it beautifully captures the essence of standing still in moments when we feel overwhelmed or uncertain. So, stand still. The trees ahead and bushes beside you are not lost. Wherever you are is called here, and you must treat it as a powerful stranger. Must ask permission to know it and be known. The forest breathes. Listen. It answers. I have made this place around you. If you leave it, you may come back again, saying, here. No 2 trees are the same to raven. No 2 branches are the same to wren. If what a tree or a bush does is lost on you, you are surely lost. Stand still. The forest knows where you are. You must let it find you.
I really love that. Yeah, that one's deep.
It is.
The part that I like the most is no two ravens know the same branch. Was that how it went? Or
no two trees are the same to raven. No two branches are the same to wren.
Yeah, that's profound to me. That's the part that stuck out because I was like, oh yeah, they see the little things.
Yeah.
They're still enough to know that every tree is different in its own way.
And every branch is different in
down,
its own way.
Down to the branch.
And yeah, so I think the forest breathes, listen, it answers, stood out to me. And then you are surely lost, stand still. The forest knows where you are. You must let it find you. So it's almost this reassurance of this connection that we have, even when we don't know where we are or what we're doing.
I agree. That is
kind of like this podcast, right?
We're just here.
We're here, and we're just coming and broadcasting and talking about things that we find throughout the week that really resonate and something that taught us.
And maybe it's also encouraging you to not worry about where it is that you want to be and go just be here and know that this journey is where you're supposed to be.
Yeah,
in a way. And like just being okay with where you're at right now versus like where you want to be.
And that moment is called here.
Yeah.
Right? So every time you come back to it, that moment is just called here. Here we are. So,
yeah. This poem reminds me that when we feel lost, the world around us is always communicating with us if we're quiet enough to listen. You know, it's a reminder that stillness is not a place of defeat, but a place of guidance.
Yeah, that's true. It's definitely a place where we can feel, or when I feel that quiet whisper in the unknown, it's a gentle tug, to stay just a little bit longer. My mom always joked about staying just 5 minutes longer for a hug. And she's right. Like, that time is valuable, and those lessons I'll never forget. So to take note and to have gratitude for all the living things around me, and I've learned that life is always communicating, but we need to become masters at silencing our own minds. It's the stillness that we recognize it's something greater than ourselves, and a force beyond our own thoughts, something that we can only feel is communicating with us through feeling.
I feel when I'm looking up at the stars is when I feel the most like I'm just like this speck in this whole space. Like why am I worrying about this little thing? Like this there's so much more to everything than just me and my thoughts.
Cassie, I'm like smiling so big right now because on Saturday night, the boys were outside playing basketball, and I went outside to play, like, throw ball with Mari for a second, and then I realized, you know what, I'm just gonna lay down right here, and I did. And I laid down and I just looked up at the stars, and I took a photo of them, and when I looked at the photo, it wasn't what I saw. Like, there were so many more stars in the photo than what I could see, so I just kept looking at them because I was mesmerized, and I did feel like so small and so
in an invigorating way.
So okay.
Yeah.
Like I'm so okay with that. Like that's great. Like wow.
Exactly.
Yeah, and all.
But yeah, it's not just about stillness either. We also want to talk about the importance of movement and how it's essential because it helps us release that built up energy, both physically and emotionally. When we stay stagnant, that energy has nowhere to go, and it can manifest as stress, anxiety, and even physical tension. And I think that when we think about stillness, they're not two different things either, though. Like I find stillness when I'm on a run. And Meredith and I were just talking about this, how we like to go on runs by ourselves because it gives us this opportunity to just explore. Maybe we're exploring our own thoughts, but maybe we're just being still and letting go and just taking it all in.
I completely resonate with this because I find that my moments of stillness are also found in my moments of movement. And that's whether that's out in nature or I could just be sitting on the shoreline. It doesn't really matter, but I find that they're two in the same. And I think that movement, is the key to finding balance between stillness and flow. And when we move, we're not only releasing that excess energy, but we're also connecting to our bodies in a way that grounds us. It doesn't have to be extreme. It really doesn't. It can just be this, like we were talking about, not running that hard, but just doing a slow jog or just walking, because we don't really need that much, like to get your heart racing and to feel happy and to get lost in like whatever you see around you. But it doesn't have to be extreme. So it can be as simple as, a walk or yoga or gentle stretching, but just something that like helps to release whatever tension is you're finding in your body.
And not only releasing, but honoring your body. I think about that. And we are not just our vessels, but we need to take care of these vessels that we've been given in a way and have gratitude for them.
I totally agree. Yeah. I think that's because when you're taking care, the whole foundation was movement, nourishment, and well-being. So movement, we felt like, was the very first thing that really helps us take care of all the other things. Like it's kind of a cascade, because when I feel like I'm taking care of my body, then I want to fuel it in a way that feels like I'm caring for it as well. And then if I have those two things balanced, then I'm going to find well-being in that balance.
Because you're taking care of your mind.
Exactly.
As well, doing that. Yeah. And I've been really inspired by Melissa Wood Tepperberg. She's a coach, online coach that does a lot of Pilates and just different movements, and they're usually pretty short. And I just really appreciate her approach to movement. And what I love about it is that it's not about pushing your body to extremes. It's more about mindful, intentional movement that helps you connect with your body and your mind. And her method focuses on sculpting long, lean lines through like low impact workouts. But more importantly, it's about creating a practice that feels sustainable and nourishing. So, and I think that's something that she really is good at hitting home with, because she's like, just grab a mat and work out in your kitchen.
I think that I remember reading how she started, and she started in her home with her children at home, right?
I think so.
I think so. So just finding those moments where she could find stillness, whether the kids were running around and distracting her from her workout, she was still finding that moment where she was connected to what she was doing, So I think, Melissa's workouts are a reminder that movement isn't just about burning calories, or hitting fitness goals, which I can't take that one back, because my goal on my watch is really important right now, because that either means I'm moving or I'm not. So sometimes it's healthy to have that, but hitting fitness goals, it's about moving your energy and releasing tension and finding flow. And I found that even on the days when I don't feel like doing much, just like 10 to 15 minutes of mindful movement can totally shift my mindset and bring me back to center.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to be much.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because I think sometimes we have these preconceived notions of what it should look like. Yeah. Like it should be an hour of really intense movement. I need to punish myself because I had XYZ. And it really doesn't have to be about that.
Yeah. We actually shouldn't punish ourselves at all, right?
Yeah.
We need to find that balance. And I think that that's probably maybe what we can dive into with the nourishment one day, but not feeling that sense of punishment.
Right. And guilt. And it's not just about the physical release Melissa often talks about how her practice is a way to connect inward, to get quiet and tune into what's happening in your body. That balance between stillness and movement is so important for maintaining overall wellness, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. And I think that that's a really powerful message that we're starting to maybe hear a little bit more mainstream, but it's also because of voices like Melissa's that is helping to bring this into existence, I think, you know? So just the other day I was out in the ocean with my son, Oliver. You know, I love the ocean. And I finally got to the point where I caught a wave again, and my heart wasn't beating as fast, and I was just like out there hanging out with Oliver, and we had so much fun. And then watching my husband surf with both of my boys, it just like brought me so much joy because it reminded me of the years that we had in Hawaii. And you know, I also took my daughter out into the ocean, and she had her floaty on, and to watch her like just floating there, and then like these big waves would come, and then we taught her how to like duck dive underneath them, and she got comfortable, and that was really incredible. But you know, I felt this deep sense of calm and flow. I wasn't trying to control anything in this moment. I was just simply in the moment, you know, letting the ocean carry, my daughter was letting the ocean carry her, and I was letting it carry me. And at one point she looked over at me and she said, "Hey Mom, let's just float." And so we both did. And, you know, it just reminded me how movement, whether in the water or on land, is a way to really connect with the present moment.
Oh yeah. I think 100%, because you're not worried about what you're doing. You're not worried about your phone. You're literally just living with your littles, or maybe you're just by yourself, but you're connecting with what's real right now.
Oh, okay. This is one of the key lessons that I learned in Hawaii probably one of the very first lessons that like stuck with me. But never turn your back on the ocean.
Oh yeah, you taught me this one.
I did.
And why?
Never turn your back on the ocean, because you have to know what's coming. Like if you're looking out, like you can assess the wave, like to see the power of it. And if you're turning your back on the ocean, you don't know what's coming. So you could get swept out. And that happens a lot. So never turn your back on the ocean. So I'm out there like teaching Mari how to observe and be present in the ocean. So because if you're looking out, you can see what's going to happen, so you can prepare for whatever it is that's going to arrive to the shoreline.
Is this a deeper lesson in life?
It totally is. Yeah, the Hawaiians know like so much.
I'm waiting for it.
Totally is, but
don't take your back on your life. Turn your back on your life lessons.
That's right. Watch. You know they're coming.
Yeah. No. Look at history.
Right. Look at the. I mean, I see it out there. If I look out there, I'm like, oh, that one's coming. That's going to be pretty big. And I'm like, Mari, okay, prepare yourself. Are you ready? Like, hold your breath. Okay. And then the big one would come.
Yeah.
And we were ready for it.
That's the lesson.
That's the lesson. I didn't even know we were going to talk about that lesson. We just did.
So okay.
Don't turn your back.
Yes. To bring it back to movement, it doesn't have to be complicated or time consuming. I think we've kind of drilled that home. You don't have to carve out hours of your day. It's about finding ways to integrate movement that feels good to you, whether it's like a short walk or a yoga flow, or even just a few minutes of stretching between tasks, you know? So yeah, just don't overcomplicate it, which it's easy to do.
It's totally the key though, you know, to make movement a part of your daily routine. And even if it's just a few minutes here or there, you know, it just helps release any of that pent up energy that brings us back into alignment with our bodies. So movement is not just physical, it's emotional and mental as well.
Ooh, yeah.
Right?
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
As you listen today, I want to encourage you to find a moment for movement, please. You know, just whether it's right now or later today, it doesn't really matter what it is, but walking, maybe it's just dancing in your living room. Whatever feels good to you, let that be your release, that energy flow out of you, and notice how it changes your day.
Yeah, for sure. And it wouldn't be the Find Your Sunne podcast if I didn't talk about play. I feel like
that's so true.
So make it fun. Like it doesn't have to be something that's super hard. Like turn up the music, make it something that you enjoy. Like if that's jujitsu, if that's maybe riding a horse, something that will get you out into the world, get outside. We can't stress enough how important it is to be out there in nature. Like, I don't blame you if you don't want to go into a grungy little gym and work out. Like, go outside and bring a couple weight. Like, if you have some dumbbells at home, just bring them outside if you can. Like, I know it's fall right now, so hopefully it's nice where you're at.
You actually just reminded me of this really beautiful influencer that I followed for quite a few years. She's out of Nashville. Her name is Mary Lawlessly, and she got her daughter into horseback riding.
Oh, cool.
And in the process, she fell in love with horseback riding, and it was kind of like her childhood dream. And she's been posting these videos of her going horseback riding and tying it into like how she's finding that joy in play again. And it's really beautiful. So
that is
thank you for sharing your beautiful videos.
See, and that's I'm getting on a tangent here, but social media is kind of put down in ways where like we are over consuming it, and I do definitely agree. But let's look at it in a different way and say like this is an outlet for self-expression, and it's a way for people to get out that exploration of self in a way, and how they feel about the world.
I talk so much about expression because I think that like if you imagine like an orange is just an orange unless you do something with it. Like when you express it, you create this juice that is nourishing to your body. So I think we're very similar as humans. Like we have these experiences, and if we just keep them in, then we are not expressing them in any way. We're not turning them into something. So that's why art is so powerful, and social media can be powerful too, because if we treat it as if it's art, then it's a way to effectively express ourselves
without the pressure of like, oh, I'm gonna post this because I want to like people to see it and have likes and all of this, and it's like that's not what it's supposed to be about. It's supposed to be just like sharing what it is that brings you joy. So anyways, let us know how it goes. We'd love to hear from you. What's your favorite way to find movement? How do you find balance between stillness and movement? And you can connect with us on social media, leave us a message on the website, whatever it is, we would love to connect with you.
So remember, whether you're finding stillness or moving to release energy, it's all about connecting with yourself and listening to what your body and mind need in the moment.
Yes, we're so grateful that you tuned in today. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and share it with us. Share it with your friends, someone who might need a reminder to move or slow down.
Yes. And until next time, keep finding your sun, and take care, everyone.
Bye. Just before you go, if you want to sprinkle some love our way without spending a dime, why not hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel? It's like giving us a hug through the internet. So please give that button a little tap and join our Sunne family.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. We hope you found the discussions enlightening and inspiring. Please note that the information provided in this podcast is for general informational purposes only. All opinions expressed here are solely our own and do not reflect the views of any sponsors or affiliate partners.
And before you apply any of the health strategies discussed on the podcast, we recommend consulting with a professional to ensure it is appropriate for your specific circumstances.
Remember, we're here to spark conversation and ideas, not substitute for any professional advice.